Welcome back to episode 24 of the Gab Street Podcast, My Pedestrians. We have returned for another week. We're actually back with the same co-host as last week. Aaron is back, or Zay. We're gonna start calling him Zay now because, you know, that's
I gotta get my name out there.
Yeah.
I can't just be like Aaron Crypto.
Aaron Crypto. I don't know, man. But Zay Crypto does sounds a bit better than that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Chaz guys were pretty dope, so they thought it was pretty.
I've actually
good.
got that like a few times now. It's kind of crazy. People like my name, man.
Yeah, I fuck with it, man. It's cool. We are still sponsored by The Green Room, which is, as we have said in the other episodes, a Gab Street podcast episode would not be without a mention of The Green Room. It is a store that is kind of like a Spencer's or a Waterbeds and Stuff. It'll be open either late this year or early next year. They'll be selling tobacco products and t-shirts and stuff like that. So that'll be open around in the Gahanna area, something like that. And we're trying to get some Gab Street t-shirts in there as well. So fingers crossed for that happening. So keep checking in with us. We'll keep you updated on the Gabs or on the Green Room after the sponsorship period has ended, but we won't be like repping them. You know what I mean? So it'll be pretty cool. And hopefully, if you're listening out there, we will need some sponsorships after this. Our distribution costs are $14 a month. So if you are interested, we still do have the Ko-fi page, ko-fi.com/Gab Street Podcast. There you can give us increments of $3, as in buying us a coffee. So that's why it's called Ko-fi. Isn't that funny? So without further ado, we do have two guests here today with us. We have Stephen Pence and Alex Eiler from... Did I say that correctly?
It's Eiler.
Eiler?
Yeah, that's a
very common...
Eiler?
Fair enough.
Very
Eiler.
common.
Yeah.
German, man. It's weird.
They are both members of the band She Bears. I have been listening to them since I was actually 13 years old. They gave me a free t-shirt back then, and they got me a poster, and it's the only poster of what it is that they've ever made.
Yeah, it's a one-of-a-kind poster.
So that's pretty dope. You guys have seen it in the story posts and such. It's We Claim to Be Statues, their EP that came out in 2012, something like that.
That's about right.
It's got 3 songs on it. I got a little vinyl of it too, so it's pretty dope. But I haven't seen these guys in like 6 years, so we have a bit of catching up to do. It's going to be a fun episode.
Yeah.
Let's get right into it. So, how I know Steven, obviously, I listened to, I think I heard Victim of Circumstance on CD 1025, and I was in the car with my dad, and I was like, hey, this song's pretty cool. So I ended up looking you guys up later that day. I just kept listening to your
Groove
projects,
Shark.
whatever was up. Yeah, Groove Shark. That was the
thing.
plug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot that.
And they got struck down in like 2015 or something.
Like that, yeah.
Now they can only have royalty-free music, which is horrible.
I think Happy Birthday went royalty-free, though. I think it's public domain.
It is.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Finally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We could
That's
sing
right.
it here. We wouldn't have to pay anybody for it.
Yeah.
That's good.
Michael Jackson's copyright on it finally expired.
No Gab Street royalties here. We don't have to deal with that. So I think through that, I ended up seeing that you guys were going to play at Comfest or something like that, and I ended up going there, and I was like, yeah, you guys are cool, and they're like, you're 13, okay, and then everybody like pushed me to the very front, and so I was up at the front, and you guys were like, that's cool, and then you gave me a t-shirt, and then, which I no longer have because it's tiny on me.
Sure.
Sounds right.
Sorry to say that.
People grow up. It's fine.
It's part of being human, usually.
Usually, yeah. For some people, it's not. So sorry for them, but I still do have a poster from back then too. I think that was like in the same year, something like that. So that was cool. And then 6 years went by, and now we're here.
Yeah.
Now we're here.
Yeah. So let's catch up on the past 6 years.
Oh, man.
What do you guys do? Let's go through that first. What kind of music do you guys put out there? What do you play?
I think we still kind of call it slacker pop,
We do.
but that was kind of our label. So I guess around that time we started saying that whenever we moved to Columbus, because indie rock around that time became this like weird like amalgamation of like what was happening in like electronic and pop music too, and just something that normally happens I think in progression of music in general. but we didn't really like fit into that. We felt like we more were like
It's either that electronic pop or like the folk side of it.
Yeah.
Like indie rock in 2010 was one or the other.
yeah, kind
And
of
so we kind of did something in the middle.
we
Do
I think identified with more of like a lot of the 90s like college rock kind of a sound, especially back then, which led us to kind of think of we were trying to think of like something we could define our genre. We started calling it slacker pop.
I did see that in the Columbus Alive article, or what? No. Where did I read that from?
maybe in the underground or
Maybe.
No.
Yeah, I mean,
we've had a handful of interviews here and there. Yeah.
Yeah. I was doing some research and I found slacker pop somewhere
yeah,
That's
on an article. That
something
you guys-
we'd been calling ourselves.
Or it was a
for the
CD
last-
1025.
Yeah, probably
Yeah.
for the last
Yeah.
12 years.
yeah.
I think that name fits perfectly for what you guys do. That's an apt description.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not like too in your face, but I'd say that there are some elements of punk in there.
Sure.
It's not like overly polished or catchy, but I would say that it is still pop music. I don't know, there's a lot of like indie rock sensibilities, but it's not a straight indie band. So I don't know, it kind of
We've always benefited from, we're a 4-piece now. We were more in the past.
up
but,
to 7.
Yeah. But at least the 4 core members that are still in the band all come from very different backgrounds musically. I myself grew up on the East Coast. At age 10, I got into like East Coast hardcore. Our bass player Ryan was in a screamo band.
Yeah. He might not say screamo, but it was
he
screamo.
won't. But he wouldn't. He wouldn't
Screamo,
admit
yeah.
it. But Alex, the other Alex in the band, the guitar player, is very much a classic rock
Yeah.
upbringing kind of guy.
Man, yeah.
Loves Clapton. He will fight me on a lot of this. But
Neil Young, Led Zeppelin. He actually
yeah.
had a Les Paul and a Dan Electra,
Yeah.
so he could be like Jimmy Page.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So and I probably fit closest to what we sound like, I guess, but still like very different than everyone else. A lot more like pop and folk and things like that than
Sure.
these guys did. But
But at the same time, Steven is from Texas. I'm from Massachusetts. Our other 2 members are from the Cleveland, Akron area. So there's a lot of different influences that have always been going into.
So
Our
you
stuff.
you guys are from all around. How did you all come together and meet originally?
yeah, OU in
OU,
Athens.
yeah.
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 We just kind of all ran into each other.
I met Steven through my roommate all through college, who was a random roommate initially, but became a really good friend of mine, Tim. And I took a semester off during my sophomore year, and that's when you...
Moved to Athens.
Yeah, that's when you met everybody. So everybody, when I came back, was like, "Oh, you got to meet Steven." And I think people were telling me, "Oh, you got to meet Alex at some point."
Yep.
Like, and we just sort of ran it. It just became that way.
Yeah.
And
that was before, so the band had started right about that time. Like, he was coming back and we were planning our first show. And then we had a drummer that was a little bit of a wild card. Like a good drummer, good dude, loved to party. And he also played trumpet and was like a pretty sick synth player. So we were like,
Nice.
yo, you move over to that, and then we'll have Alex move to drums. And that was like August of that year, though. So
Yeah.
we'd known each other for like a full 8 months by that point.
I'd probably seen 2 She Bear shows.
Yep.
There may have only been 2 She Bear
Yeah, it was
shows at that
probably
point.
like 3 or 4.
I was in a hilariously fun and not great pop punk band at the time.
Very
I
fun.
love those guys to death, and I still talk to them, but we all know the band was kind of, whatever.
I mean, it was a blast.
It was super fun. Like
I wish
said,
I would have seen you
super fun.
when you had that electronic kit.
I
that you were
did. I was
on.
playing an electric drum kit in a punk band at our first 5 shows until I was able to borrow a drum set from a friend to play an actual show. I mean, it was so much fun and so stupid. Our first show, my drum set got unplugged 3 times during the set. like, because it was a Smiling Skull in Athens, Ohio, which is a biker bar. At that time, it was cash only, and I don't think
you could buy like Lucy cigarettes and stuff.
Lucy cigarettes for $0.25. Yeah. Super fun, but there was one drunk guy and I was 19 or 20 at the time, and one drunk guy that kept unplugging my drum set, just kept walking into the cord.
God.
Because it's off stage, because it's just like a plug by the bathroom.
It's barely a venue. It's not like it's the worst bar.
I love that bar so much.
So you weren't even close to the cord. You had to be like, hey guys,
right?
Yep.
Let me run over here.
And that guy just kept. Every time he unplugged the cord, he'd bring me a beer. Like, I'm sorry, man, and I was like, I just don't.
And you were like 18, so
I was like, that's all right, whatever, cool, great.
3 beers.
We'll start the song over, or start it somewhere. I don't know, but yeah, from there, I mean, just through hanging out with you guys and playing weird cover songs in your garage.
Yeah,
joined the band.
Nice. Something that we kind of did for a while. I lived in a garage apartment by myself, and the garage just was like until my neighbors would come over and yell at me. It was like where we'd just like hang out and play music.
Sure. There were 2 drum sets for some reason at some point?
Well, yeah, because Pierce and Zach and the guys we knew, we had a couple bands practicing there. So
I mean, at that time, so Steven's 2 years older than me. So at that time, he was living off campus. A lot of us were living on campus at OU. So we didn't have anywhere to go. I mean, not just to like hang out, but a lot of my friends and stuff were musicians. We didn't have anywhere to go. And anywhere to go and play. Maybe we could run out of space in the music building, but that closed at whatever. So Steven's house with this huge garage became, let's all hang out and play music, and that's really where She-Bears was born.
Yep.
Seems like where a lot of great bands are born.
Well, when you get people that love to play, and maybe fuel with some booze, and
Mad
say,
Dogs.
Mad Dog 2020s, woof. But say like, hey, my neighbors are cool. We can hang out until 4 a.m. and play music at almost full volume.
That was the limit that we found. Was right about like 3:34. It's like, dudes, come on.
Right.
That's a good limit, though.
Yeah.
Like, that's really decent.
They were young and hip, but a little bit older than us. But
he was a grad student. He's like photojournalist grad student.
Everybody needs sleep eventually.
Right.
Yeah, I guess.
Us included. I mean, that was also a good limit for us. Like, hey, walk your ass back home. It's a 20-minute walk back to your house or back to your apartment. Go home. Go to bed. Wake up at noon.
Yeah. So we kind of all found each other.
Yeah.
It was a weird, like, loose collective for a while. Like, people kept joining and quitting, and that were outside of the core like group of us.
Sure.
Like, once you joined, I mean, Alex Douglas, guitarist, and he plays like keys and some glockenspiel and sings, and then Ryan, who's our bassist. We've all kind of like stuck together.
Funny story. Ryan actually auditioned to be the bass player in my crappy pop punk band, and he came in. This is before. I never knew this until like years later, because he has a twin brother, and obviously they're identical twins. So I always thought it was his brother that had like come and tried out to be a bass player in this band, and it wasn't. It was him.
So you were there and you didn't know it was him?
Yeah, and he always tells me he came in. I remember this happening. He came in because me and the other guy that started this band were looking for other members, and he found Ryan. And I guess Ryan came in and played with us for one day and was like, yeah, I don't think this is my thing. And just like, I didn't talk to Ryan again for 3 years. Damn.
Wow.
And now we're great friends.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think the way your music has, over time, over the last 6 years, I guess, grown and shaped itself, I think the name Slacker Pop does do a lot for what you guys do. But something else that makes you guys unique is that you have the indie rock sound, but you take actual musical theory concepts like changing time signatures and stuff, and you actually apply a bit more of that classical knowledge than you'll hear some other bands do, like for example the Orwells or something.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think you guys put a lot more effort into that musicality part of it. It's not just like a like a party band or anything. You know what I mean? This is something that you would listen to if you were really interested in deeply understanding music.
Sure.
Thanks, I think. Yeah.
Right. That's great. Alex, Douglas, and I both have audio production degrees.
Okay.
From OU. We graduated same school and all that, which is basically a required minor in music. I know he did a lot of the music theory study. I grew up in a choir background, so even though I play drums, like I also play piano a little bit, and my fingers aren't that good, to be honest, in the piano setting. But I did a lot of music theory growing up, so melodies, harmonies, all that stuff has always come really naturally to me. I mean, a lot of my family has done a lot of choir, and so I know that at least the two of us, me and Alex, have education in that sense, but it's always been a passion of mine, and I know same with you.
Yeah, and Ryan too. Though he was also a jazz band dude, even when he was in his screamo band. So, but I think that a lot of the time that stuff happens, sort of like out of almost necessity. Whenever we're like working on a song, we'll get to a part that we're like, we don't know what to do, and we don't want to keep doing the same thing. And someone will be like, "What about this weird fucking thing?" And then we'll all be like, "Yeah, that sounds great. Let's do that." And so it just kind of...
we can totally curse on this podcast.
Oh, yeah, that's
right?
fine.
All right, cool.
Totally fine.
I already did it, but
yeah. My grandmother listens, but it's fine.
Sure.
Like, it's whatever.
Just making sure.
Hi.
Oh, yeah, you guys know her.
Yeah, I met her. I met her at the Panera.
That's totally fine. Go ahead.
Yeah. But yeah, so it just becomes... Like, I think that's... I mean, there is some intention to it, but... of course, it doesn't just happen, but
a lot of it comes from noodling around too, kind of.
Well,
right.
Trying to find like a different way to approach like a next part, I guess. Yeah. And so,
a lot of the bridges in our songs come out of like, oh, what the fuck what the hell, guys? Like,
yeah,
we'll be do something. Somebody do something, and then it'll
that sound for a very long time.
Yeah.
That you just made.
Yeah, a lot of that.
Yeah.
A lot of staring at each other and sort of like, oh, come on.
Walking away.
Yeah, we do that a lot.
Sleeping on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do that a lot.
Yeah, we definitely do that a lot.
It's one of the reasons why we work very hard on our songs, but sometimes they do take time to get to where we like them, and maybe they're never finished.
Yes.
I mean, live versions of our songs from 12 years ago, 10 years ago, they're different now than they were when we recorded them. It's just, you find something that you like, and maybe you do it, and maybe you did it on the recording, maybe you didn't.
Yeah.
Maybe you just do it forever after that.
Sure.
Cool. So, you guys say you have 4 members now.
Yes.
Do you guys feel comfortable talking about what happened to the other members that were there?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, there was nothing that was bad.
Okay.
So
it wasn't like a bad like split or anything.
No,
it
not
was just kind of like, I got other shit to do.
I hate them now.
Those guys in Big Bliss in Brooklyn, they're I hate them. They're doing terrible. No, they're
cheers.
Check out Big Bliss. They're my roommate's band. Him and his brother. And,
so yeah, Tim, our like origin story dude, who was living with Alex, was the guy that I met. And I had gotten a show offer because I put up some like demos, and I was like, "Oh, I can't play a show. I don't have a band." And he was like, "No, we're gonna get you a band." And so he put together the band, kind of the original one. So Tim is now in Big Bliss. Mm-hmm. Zach Insko, who was the drummer in his band at the time, is in Wild Honey still.
I think so. Yeah.
And they're from They're in Baltimore now,
and they're killing it. Both of those bands, by the way, are killing it, and they're doing great.
Yeah, for sure.
They make crazy good music.
Yeah. So those guys, they were like first round. Caitlin was in the band at the time then too.
She was a piano player, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so then Pierce was our drummer, the original drummer, and so he moved to keys and trumpet. But then I think he kind of half got bored and half got busy with school projects and just kind of like pieced, but we also ended up living together after that, so we were totally cool.
That's good.
After Pierce left, we were still kind of like on the lookout for someone to do auxiliary stuff because for whatever reason, me, were fixated on this idea of like having a bunch of people to like make a bunch of like weird sounds. And so we got this guy Teddy, who was in this band Caslow. So Teddy was in the band for a year and a half-ish.
Yeah. By the time I joined, Tim and Zach were kind of already out.
Yeah, they were gonna do that Roots North record.
They did. They had their own band, and they were focusing on that, obviously. And so yeah, Teddy was in the band for about a year and a half, and
Are any of Teddy's works represented in any of the records?
Yeah,
he played all the synth lines on.
I Found Myself Asleep.
On the first
Oh,
record.
okay, cool.
Yeah, he did synth lines on those.
Did some backing vocals too.
Melodica.
Yeah.
There's some like crazy distorted organ that it's on there. That's him. He had a hand in like refining all of those songs. He's much more of like especially at that time, he was like he's classic songwriter kind of a dude.
Kind of big picture sort of looking.
Yeah.
And that's kind of his band at the time was disbanding as they graduated from college and moved on, and he was able to come in and just sort of look at what we were doing and say, okay, I get this, let me add texture to it. And
really like hammer home some of these parts that really are effective. And
at that time I wasn't doing much backing vocals.
No,
because I
even
don't
though
know if
you
you
were
ever tried to play drums and sing at the same time. It's really fucking hard.
Damn.
It takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of concentration, and I was drinking a lot at the time, so didn't have that much concentration.
So yeah, he was there for a while, but he was a grad student, medieval studies.
Something like that.
Yeah, so he was learning about like history a long time ago. And
Yeah.
so he was graduating. We were like getting ready to like tour. We agreed that if we're gonna do like that record, we were gonna like tour at the very least. We're gonna try and do that. We had like no real expectations for it.
Yeah, where have you guys been?
Oh,
I
think the story's getting there.
Yeah.
Well,
okay. Should I put it on the back burner? For
Well, so I mean that's kind of the thing is that we planned this like 6-week tour.
Okay.
We had played sparingly out of town, like because we were playing like so every quarter, and at OU was 3 quarters that everyone was really there.
It's 10 weeks of classes and
So
2 weeks of finals.
We were playing like 5 or 6 shows per quarter, and we did that for like 2-3 years, something like that. And so I mean we'd played not even that many shows, like 50, maybe over like 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And we were like, well, we're gonna do this tour of like 40 something dates or whatever it was, and that was Midwest. And so that one we played like a bunch of Ohio and some Kentucky and Indiana and Illinois, like Chicago and stuff. And then we did like like I think more Kentucky and Tennessee. I don't think we ended up playing Arkansas, but then like a handful in Texas. Show or 2 in Georgia. We did like DC.
Yeah.
So you've been around a bit.
Yeah.
I think last time I counted it, we've played in like 25 states.
20 something for
Nice.
sure.
Yeah, it's maybe pushing 30.
But I mean,
at this
so we
point,
did some other touring beyond that one. But so anyway, that like 6-week tour was like coming up. Caitlin was like trying to be like a serious print journalist. So we knew she was going to go do that.
I feel like you told me that. Yeah. Okay.
I think
remember
that whenever we met, you asked specifically like, "Where's Caitlin? Where's that babe in your band?"
Well, only because I love the piano-driven stuff on like Victim of Circumstance.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was thinking about it. Because I noticed when you guys played and I saw you guys at that Confest, she wasn't there.
Yep.
And so I was wondering if you guys were going to play that song. I was like, "Where's that piano?"
It's definitely different without her, and we miss her constantly. But she is a successful journalist, so good for her.
That's good.
Totally.
Yeah.
Sure, I miss her piano parts, but we have, I don't know, I guess when she first left the band, we kind of had talked about like, all right, what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Because somebody like specifically in Victim of Circumstance, there's a part where it's just piano.
Yeah.
So what happens there? So we tooled around with everybody sort of like all right,
doing
maybe,
something.
Right. And maybe somebody filled that part, and we landed on Ryan doing a bass line drive to
That was
push
very
it.
similar to her piano part.
Yeah. Kind of like the dum kind of thing, or
So that bridgey thing, the do 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 do.
Well, now I can only hear the bass part because we've been playing that way for.
Yeah. So I mean, before the last chorus, that instrumental section, she drives that, and it's just kick drum but so we had to figure out a lot of things like that. And a funny thing about Victim of Circumstance is actually she couldn't make it to a practice, and you had been playing that drum beat.
That's right.
And we were like, all right, you know what we're going to do today? We're going to try and write a song that Caitlin can't play piano to.
Yeah.
And then she was like, here's this sick part.
No, she's so talented in that set. I forgot about that. But yeah, it was just we're going to make this weird song, and she will come in next time we have practice and not know what to do. And she came in and was just like, oh, this is great. Here's all this piano stuff that goes perfectly over it. And that's
a cool way of doing it. Yeah.
So we just kind of we were getting to that point. We were booking the tour. We were ready for it, and Teddy was like, "Dudes, I can't do this anymore.
Oh.
I'm gonna be graduating. I've got to figure out my life."
Yeah.
And
within a year he was married, and then 2 he had kids. So.
Something like that. Yeah. No.
Maybe not a
close.
year, but
yeah.
Maybe that time was a little off. But
Yeah.
he was ready to progress with his life.
Yeah, he was. He was graduating from grad school. We were all barely functioning adults.
Yeah.
And we decided that we were going to go live in a van. We were all like, okay, nobody has rent for the summer. Nobody plan a lease. We'll all sign a lease for Columbus when we get back. Because by that time we'd signed with Deep Elm, and we were like, okay, so we're going to stay together, and we're still going to be a band. And that's all we knew. So we had a lease in Columbus for September, and then we were like,
we were crashing with a friend of ours in Athens, who was actually subleasing
a 5-bedroom house.
He was living in a 5-bedroom house alone.
He was subleasing from one girl, and there were 5 girls living there, and so no one else was there that summer. We knew them all fairly well.
Oh yeah, it was not strangers, but
so we stored all of our belongings in these people's house.
In this house
there was that possum because there was a dryer exhaust hole, but the people that lived there before them took the dryer that they had with them, and it they ripped out a hole in the wall.
Oh my!
And so every night we would be like hanging out, and the fucking possum would stroll in. And like none of us like wanted to like chase it.
Right. I mean,
like,
what do you don't know if those things have like diseases or whatever. Just like
and we just kind of joined the band.
Yeah,
you might as well have.
Yeah.
Was it chill though?
Oh yeah,
Was it a
chill
good
as hell.
possum or bad possum?
It was a great I guess as far as like
never bit anybody.
Never bit anybody.
Yeah.
It's
Just
a big
sat there,
plus.
popped up in a White Claw, just hung out. You know?
Yeah, it didn't move in.
White Claw was not around yet.
Yeah, not invented. We were like post Sparks. Sparks had been taken. They had the caffeine taken out of it pre Four Loko.
Yeah.
No, actually, Four Loko was that summer.
Four Loko was around with the caffeine
hellish
still.
nightmarescape.
I always wanted to try the old Four Loko.
You really don't.
Yeah, man.
You really. It's
it's not
a good
fun.
way. It's like you might as well just like do some DMT and like chill out.
That's not the move.
So we did that, and so we were like, we had to figure out this tour. We probably playing these old songs were not like as prepared as we would have wanted to be. I think just like because we were sort of thrown at us like in like May, and we were leaving in like June.
Yeah, we had very little time to like
adapt,
and I mean, but we luckily
we've been writing some new songs.
Yeah,
like some of the stuff that ended up on
We Will Be Fossils.
We Will Be Fossils ended up being that. So 5/4 and Ant Fossils.
A handful of additional songs on top of the 9 full songs that were on.
Yeah,
because it was a 10-track album, but the first one was there
was an instrumental.
There was like an instrumental
thing in there.
Yeah, we didn't. Not the first track, but there was a track in there that we was just a transitional piece.
And Caitlin was still in the band.
Yes.
Let's actually be clear about that.
Yeah, she was still in the band.
Still in the band. because she had an internship that summer.
Yeah, that's right.
So she was going to be in like Arizona, I think. And I could be making that up. I could
She
just be
moved to
saying
Arizona later. I don't think that's where it was. It doesn't
I'm going to
matter.
say Arizona,
Okay.
just as a placeholder state.
Somewhere.
Somewhere far away. We didn't go on tour. No, that's a lie, because she did play a couple shows with us that summer.
She met up with us in a couple places. Doesn't
Anyways,
matter.
so we moved to Columbus. She's back in Athens going to school. And
She's younger than...
she's not younger.
She was 8.
Because she's only like 2 months younger than you, but she was a grade below you.
Right.
She's a year behind.
I have a summer birthday. She has an early fall birthday.
Yeah.
I feel that,
So
yeah.
she was 1 year behind as far as academia is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
Way smarter than me.
Yes.
Like years
always.
ahead of me.
Yes.
Mentally, but
Also very mature. Like I look back and like think about like the fact that she had to like deal with like a group of dudes that were just like ridiculous like children. We weren't like we were wild.
Yeah.
I mean, not like it's not like we were like Motley Crue wild, but we were
Right.
like I don't know, summer break run amok. Like it was like I kept joking that I was on endless summer break. Like I ate Doritos whenever I wanted. I took a lot of naps.
watched RoboCop a lot.
That's the life, man.
Yeah,
That's
it's
the
very
life.
good.
All right, I'm going to ask you guys about Deep Elm Records and your relationship with them after this quick break.
Yeah.
We're about halfway point, so we'll be right back. You're going to hear a sponsorship message for about a minute, and then we'll be right back to the show. You just heard some she-bears right before this message, but now we're on to the message about sponsorships. We're back with another message from Green Room. It's the same message you've heard every single time. It's we're still sponsored by the Green Room for the month of July. You'll hear this for another 2 episodes. You should definitely go check them out when they open, either late this year or early next year. They'll be selling tobacco products, kind of, and t-shirts and other apparel, kind of like a waterbeds and stuff, or Spencer's. You can go check that out. It'll be in the Gahanna area, and we're there very thankful for them covering our distribution costs. But I do have to start paying for distribution of this podcast out of my own pocket starting in August. So if you guys are loving what we do with this show and want it to continue to be on all of the platforms that you use and have readily available to you, please, it would be very much appreciated if you could sling a $3 Ko-fi donation or anything other than that, sponsorship opportunities, anything like that. Buy some merch from the Redbubble site. We'll also be ordering some stickers soon. I got in touch with Outreach Promotions, which is right down the street from me, and hopefully we can get a deal cut together here pretty soon to get like 50 or 100 stickers ordered. And we'll start putting those around town, and we'll be giving a sticker to every single guest that we have had on the show. So that'll be pretty cool. Go check us out on social media. We're on Instagram at Gab Street Podcast. We're on Twitter at Gab_Street. And go check out our Ko-fi page, ko-fi.com/Gab Street Podcast. Redbubble.com/people/Gab Street Podcast or Gab Street, whichever one. And don't forget to subscribe to us on iTunes whenever the fuck that comes back up. And Spotify, you can follow us on there as well. And also on YouTube, keep subscribing to us there. And we're still having an episode coming out every single week. We're going to have guests on most of the episodes. We will be doing some episodes without guests, and we'll be chopping it up, doing some top 10s and other stuff like that, talking about local businesses and local music to check out. So if you love Columbus, you'll love Gab Street. Keep listening, pedestrians, and I will see you in a few seconds when we go back with the episode. Welcome back to episode 24. We are still here with Zay. Say hello.
Hey guys,
He's
I'm
back.
here.
Yes.
Still here.
And the 2 guys from She Bears, Alex Eiler.
Eiler.
Eiler. Did I actually fuck it up a second time?
Yeah.
It's all right.
It's okay. We literally had a
Great.
manager that we worked with that just called him Alex Eiler for months, and I corrected him.
fine.
So yeah,
That's
Fine.
worse than what
It's
I
fine.
did. So I
yeah,
feel
you're
better
good.
about
You're
that.
good. You're good.
German's a tough language.
And Stephen Ponce. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
So, like I said before the break, I wanted to ask you guys a little bit about Deep Elm because once I found out about you guys and I went I did a little more exploring like back when I was younger, and I listened through a lot of artists on Deep Elm, and that
Do
label.
we have a sponsorship thing?
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
If they sponsor me, that'd be cool. But we do not. Oh, yeah, no, I am not sponsored by Deep Elm Records. But if you guys want to, like, I'm totally open to it. It's fine.
Yeah.
But I listen to like, oh shit, Appleseed Cast.
Yeah.
Appleseed Cast, Owls. Like, there's some killer.
Yeah.
Is it Paper Moons?
Yeah.
Paper Moons were
Yeah.
my shit back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just
Les Sage was on there at the time.
they have some great bands on
Track a Tiger is
Yeah.
one that I like. So did you guys actually get to talk to these other bands and interact with them, or did you just listen to them on the same label?
Some of them in passing.
Yeah.
You know, a lot like the thing they were really spread out. I mean, there were bands from all over the world on the label and stuff.
They did some crazy like South American like Latin jazz stuff too. That's just like way out there. It's so
Yeah.
bizarrely like not what we do, but I still love it.
Yeah, we kept like internet correspondence, like MySpace. Oddly, like
Yeah.
that. Whenever we were first signed, that was still a thing.
Before Justin Timberlake bought it.
Some emails,
Yeah.
like things like that. But I don't think that we ever played with anybody.
We tried. We tried
tried.
here and there
Yeah.
to try to like, hey, Appleseed Cast, you guys want to play a show together? And they're like, no. Who are you?
But I mean, we did have some other ones that we hit up on the way. But yeah, I mean, we just never unfortunately did that. But I mean, it's kind of everyone was so spread out. There were only a couple bands. Like we were trying to get something together with Paper Moons. We were going through Texas,
That's right.
but one of the guys like lived in Dallas and one lived in Austin or something like that.
Isn't Moonlit Sailor in like fucking Sweden or something? Like I thought, I don't know. Somebody's in Sweden. Somebody's like in another country.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there was like
there's
a band
several
from
there are
Spain in there too. I think.
I think they have at least
That's
one
crazy.
or two in Africa too. Or just like,
Yeah.
that'd be great to play with you, but you know,
Yeah.
It's a
if
way.
you ever come to Ohio, let us know.
Yeah.
The place to be. Yes.
Yeah.
Ohio, man. Are you guys on a label right now?
We are not.
No.
So you're independent.
Yeah.
So looking back, do you prefer being on a label, or do you like? I'm assuming you like the independent thing, seeing as you're independent right now.
Well, there's pros and cons.
Yeah, obviously.
We're also like at a point as a band where we're not like gonna tour 50,
Not-
60
right. We're-
plus 100 days a year.
I think it's a very important conversation these days, just the whole independent versus label thing, because we're at a point in the music industry where it's more possible than ever to do this whole thing independent.
Sure.
Like
sure.
labels aren't as necessary as they used to be back in the
And
day.
one of the, I mean, our deal with Deep Elm was
Digital.
digital and almost more licensing.
Mhm.
It definitely got our name out there.
Yeah.
Which definitely helps because sure, anybody can be a YouTube star,
Yeah.
but
doesn't get you.
there's
You got to get
20
that
million
traction
videos.
somehow.
Yeah, there's 20 million videos on the internet. Like,
Yeah.
you can't just. Not everybody's gonna be Justin Bieber gets discovered by Usher.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
our agreement with Deep Elm certainly got our music into some more mainstream stuff. They had a deal with MTV at the time.
They're doing a lot of sync placement stuff.
Yeah, so just
Sweet.
like background music for the MTV reality
Oh,
shows.
hell
Like
yeah.
we were. If You Really Knew Me was one of our big payers.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I don't think that show's still on the air, but
Didn't you guys do a soundtrack for a movie at
We
some
had
point?
one on there. I actually never saw the movie.
which movie was that?
I don't remember the name of it.
Yeah, I don't remember that either.
I think it's a documentary.
Was it just
No.
one song, or was it like?
Yeah, we didn't score the movie.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what
We
I
were
figured.
sitting there like like scoring.
We had
like Hans Zimmering it up.
We had a Rock Band song.
We definitely had a song on downloadable for Rock Band.
You can watch it on
shit.
YouTube.
Okay.
You can watch somebody
That's
do a
cool.
perfect performance.
Yeah,
Do you know what song it was?
What Morning Brings.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good song. Cool.
Yeah. I mean, it was cool. Like, it was a very cool experience. I don't think that we might not have been a band for much longer.
Probably not. I mean, we maybe just would have like gone our separate ways. It's similar to bring it back to like what Caslo did, because they had success, and then they grew up. They what people say is grow up and move away, move along. We were probably kind of on the threshold of that as a band, and we put out this album that like we were proud of and really enjoyed it, and then like summer hit, or it was a break. I was at home when I got the email.
Oh, so we recorded it, and then we went to and so that was during like a Christmas thing, because we recorded it. I mixed it with Josh Antonuccio, who did that record and Great Lakes Tidal Wave, and we came back. We had our like release show. I'm doing air quotes, and we released like a CD. And then we went away for like Christmas break, and Ryan had sent out a bunch of CDs to labels.
Yeah.
Our bassist, because we had talked about it, and we were like, yeah. So he that was like what he was responsible. Why not
try to get something out there? You send it to your favorite labels or whatever.
So it was a situation where you sent something out to the label, they responded. It wasn't like they found you.
Correct.
So you guys reached out first originally.
It's
okay.
basically the way you have to do it now. It's hard to get discovered when you're in like a small like Southeast Ohio town. That's not going to
40,000 people and students are there.
The only way labels are going to reach out to you if you like have a if you have a hit like
if you're 21 Pilots, who by the way I did open for with my crappy pop punk band.
Hell yeah. Nice. That's awesome.
In Athens, they were nobody at the time. It's fine.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we
like
played that Independence Day 2011, same with that main stage.
Yeah.
We played in like middle afternoon. They were like second headliner, but
right.
we were there for that too.
I forgot about that. I've opened for them twice. Who knew?
Yeah. But
let's talk about them for a minute. That's cool. Because like
Pilots?
because I have been having I have a few friends with different opinions on them.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Where some people are still like mega fans and have been since they were not big, like I have a friend who actually was going to co-host the last episode, but she wasn't able to make it. But she's like known them since their beginning, and
like personally, or just known of the band?
I think personally.
Okay, yeah.
As far as I remember, that's what she said.
So
And they still like rep Columbus, and they talk about Columbus, and she thinks that they have not sold out or anything. They haven't given up any creative control in order to be as big as they are. I also have other friends who think that they have changed their style so much to the mainstream style, and that they have lost their mojo, I guess, is the best way I can think of.
I don't know that I've followed their career enough to make an opinion to be like to.
Well, I don't know either. That's why I wanted to ask.
Strong take.
Yeah.
I have a little bit. I'm not like an avid listener.
And if you
they're
don't,
not my
like,
favorite
that's fine,
band, but I know it well enough. I've heard songs from like everything they've released. I mean, it changed a little bit, but everybody changes.
Right.
Yeah.
They've always been like everything they do seems very intentional for the. I think it is like lock and step. Like everything they do is like stage performance style of music they're doing. I think that they're writing to that. It's for them. It's theatric. It is a whole package.
Yeah.
So I think that they've always been doing that. What else are you doing in entertainment but trying to sell yourself?
Yeah.
Selling out isn't a thing. Like I think it was like a Hard Times article that was it's like this satire thing, but it was like list made of pros and cons for selling out, couldn't find any cons or something like that. Like, yeah, fuck yeah, like you make money. Like this is why you do art. Yeah. And if you want to be a suffering artist, like fucking cool, but like don't give someone else a hard time for making money doing what they want to do. And people do that all the time. And I was the same way when I was younger. I would get frustrated with bands that I liked because I thought they were really like pop or commercial. But now I like listen to those and I'm like, oh shit, this is a really good record. They actually like had the time and money and resources to put like this is a full vision.
Yeah.
And I didn't get it when I was younger. And I mean, you don't always. I mean, everyone's got different opinions. It's subjective. It's art. So I think it's like fucking cool. Like more people know that Columbus, Ohio has music here than they did before 21 Pilots was big.
That's a good point.
That's the big takeaway from it. This city has become now, people actually know about it.
Yeah.
I mean, as stupid, I watch TV shows and they're like, oh, well, we're flying through Columbus, Ohio. Okay, maybe it's like an eye roll moment, but at the same time, they could have said Indianapolis, they could have said Chicago, they could have said Cleveland, they could have said anywhere else, but they said Columbus.
True.
Even just
you do watch a lot of shows about people flying.
I do. It's a big. I was a big Wings fan. Tony Shalhoub, big inspiration for me.
Nice.
Always.
Personally,
I think the biggest part of people feeling that way, like, oh, they sold out, is that like the mindset of hearing a Justin Bieber song and thinking it's about you. You know what I mean? Where like you feel they've gotten bigger, so you're like, I'm not as important to them now because they,
right.
You know what I mean? I think that's where most of that might come from.
Yeah.
And I definitely don't feel that way. I don't feel much of a way because I'm not.
I mean, those guys do a great job. People camp on their lawns and stuff. Like,
yeah, it's crazy.
People still feel very connected. So whether or not they've alienated some people, like it's.
No.
That happens. It happens.
And
even if they didn't change, it would
always
happen.
Gonna happen.
Exactly.
I mean,
You can never please everybody. There's always going to be someone that has a problem with what you're doing, no matter what it is.
Yes, absolutely.
At the same time, the man who cuts my hair did camp out for tickets for the most recent show and had a great time. He loved it. He went with his husband, who doesn't know the music, but he was like, it was the best show I've been to in a long time.
That's cool.
And he's in his late 50s. So at the same time, if they can do that for him, awesome. And they can do the same for 15-year-old girls. Great. Yeah. Good for them. They're doing what they want to do,
Yeah.
Good for them.
I bet there are some people who they heard that Gage was leaving this show and they were like, "Fuck you guys! I'm not happy anymore. Like I can't listen to Gab Street."
Well,
so I mean that's on a much smaller scale, obviously, but you can't make everybody happy.
There's like one person like
one guy was like, "I was listening to her Gage,
ripping up Gab Street posters,
ripping down their Gab Street. They're burning their Gab Street jerseys."
That being said, if you have a Gap Street jersey, I will take one.
And I'll burn it.
I'll wear that for 2 weeks and I'll burn it.
One day, man.
Yo,
one day,
get on that
jerseys.
Gab Street jerseys.
I'm gonna leave Cleveland. I'm gonna come back, and you're gonna find the ashes of the jersey, and you're gonna rebuild it.
Yeah.
You're gonna welcome me back with open arms.
Well, to kind of link all this together, so with Deep Elm, we were a little bit more idealistic back then.
I'm just surprised you're able to bring this back around.
I am. I think so. We mentioned they were like digital and licensing. They did a lot for us as far as like getting our name out there, giving us like a good like income, like cash flow base, which was awesome. But we, at the time, I think we wanted a label that was a little bit more like on the ground. We wanted somebody who was gonna like do some like maybe physical stuff, which led us to We Want Action, which was kind of like a bridge in between. But we got so much out of that Deep Elm experience that it was, it really, we wouldn't.
Part of it was timing, because they were moving from North Carolina to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that happened in the middle of it.
Yeah, it just...
Deep Elm did?
Deep Elm was moving their headquarters.
Damn.
They were originally headquartered in, I think, New York.
Yeah.
And that was whenever they were releasing 7-inch records for, like, Jimmy Eat World and Nada Surf and things like that. But then they moved, and whenever they were in North Carolina, at some point they switched to being a digital label.
At the time...
Records weren't really back yet.
Vinyl hadn't really come back
but it was
to the point where it is now.
But it was coming back. Like it was on the but it still is. It still is a very niche thing. But even then, like you couldn't go to a Barnes & Noble and get a record then.
Yeah.
So we knew we wanted that. We saw that like being like a thing that was coming. But John, the owner of Deep Elm, had already been there. I'm sure he felt like that was like backtracking and probably something that was a fad. Even looking at it now, if it goes another 10 years, it's ultimately still somewhat a fad. It's another arc in it. And licensing and digital stuff doesn't go away.
Yeah.
unless we like go back to like the Stone Age and like all electricity goes away or like the sun burns us up or some shit.
Right.
But
Not gonna happen for a couple thousand years.
so I think we kind of wanted to do something different, but I mean, it's cool. What they do for bands is really cool.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, we were in Columbus trying to figure out how to be a 4-piece band after that.
Right. I mean, again, with Caitlin only being partially in the band and focusing on her finishing up her schooling, and then when she graduated, then that's when she actually moved to Arizona.
I think, yeah.
For sure. She went to work for the Arizona Republic and, actually pursued her career as a journalist. Then it was kind of like, okay, this is for real. It's just us now.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the four of us. We got to figure this out.
We're a band called She Bears with no ladies.
Right, with no ladies.
Yeah.
And that was just us in our basement trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
I forgot to ask the biggest question of all. Where did the name come from?
I was just
Yeah.
Okay, so this is sort of
Is this going to take
Texas.
Another hour?
In Texas.
No.
A buddy of mine and I were talking about our the most ridiculous stories in like religion and like fable that we had heard of, and we were kind of like going tit for tat, like all these things, and we were both in like I think like religion and philosophy and like literature classes and all this. So all this was like fresh in our minds, and he goes, "Oh, I like the one where like God kills all those kids with the bears." And we were like, and I was like, that's not real. And I was like, you lose. Like, you don't, like, that's not a real one. And he was like
I have
prone
heard
to
of that one though.
But so it is a thing.
Yeah.
And so I was like, that's not real. So we called all of our friends that we thought might know, and so one friend of ours.
Instead of actually looking it up.
Well, there's no glossary.
No,
in the Bible.
I know. There's no index.
This is pre-Google, right?
Yeah,
Pre-Google.
Well,
No, it's not pre.
so no, it's not
that
pre.
old, dude.
It's not, this isn't pre. But we didn't have internet, so I could sit like on half of our living room at our apartment, and I could pick up one of our neighbors' Wi-Fi, but we didn't have our own internet.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
the idea of just doing that, I bought this giant dictionary that was our bet settling dictionary.
Yeah.
But this wasn't in there. So we called a bunch of our friends. We finally get a hold of our friend, and we say, "Do you know what this is? Is this a thing?" And she was like, "I remember hearing of it. I don't know what it is." And we were like, "Well, do you know how we can find it?" And she said, "I can ask my dad." And we said, "Great." And she said, "Only if you're not going to use this for evil." And I feel like to a certain degree I've really betrayed her because I said, no, I will not use this for evil. And I mean, this was like it was more than this, but I mean, sort of like a glorified vessel to like drive around the country and like drink beer all over the place. So like I kind of did. But yeah, so we looked it up, and the King James version of the Bible said she bears, and we thought it was just a funny thing. So this guy and I had joked, like we were like, oh, we're starting a band called She Bears, God's Weapon of Choice. And then we were like, and then a buddy of mine who was actually in a band with at the time in Texas, he was like, oh no, we should actually start a band called She Bears. And then he had moved to Ohio with me when I first moved, but he moved back before the band actually started. And then it just kind of stuck. Like, better or worse, you can remember it. I mean,
Sure.
like,
Yeah,
it's Lady Bears.
You did gloss over the actual story, which is a bunch of kids make fun of a fat, bald man.
Oh, yeah.
And he basically prays.
I think you might be putting fat on him without...
I just assume he's fat.
He's definitely bald.
Maybe I should be smitten. Whatever.
Way to go, man.
But a bunch of kids make fun of a bald guy for being bald.
And this man of God,
Man,
he's hurt. His feelings are hurt.
Oh no.
Yeah.
He turns around, prays to God, and God sends 2 she bears. That's all. That's the only description.
Yeah.
That's it. And they
To kill 40 and 2 of them.
Yeah, they completely murder 42 kids.
Yeah. Just maul.
So the religious context, or at least in our early years, got the question of like, so you guys like a God band or Christian band, whatever? And we're like, no, not really. I mean, Caitlin's dad was a preacher, right?
Yeah, but that wasn't even a thing. And I don't even think we
It
said
was just
not
like-
really. We were just like,
It was like
no.
that doesn't really have. It's not like no, we're not making like Christian rock.
No.
You know, it's
This isn't praise music.
right. I mean, I was raised Unitarian for fuck's sake.
I would.
It's none of us are very religious. Incredibly religious people. It's just that was the question that got asked a lot.
My mom believes in like crystals and stuff, but not like an anti-vaxxer crystal kind of a thing. She's like, we're all one with the universe. Like,
yeah, my sister's a massage therapist. She does the same thing. Like,
chakras and all that. Yeah,
holistic healing.
All right.
Yeah. So, anyways,
sorry to derail that. But.
Yeah. So not quite 30 minutes, but
no, we love derailing on the show. It's like what it's for, basically. So I have kind of a hard question for you guys. So it'll probably take the rest of the time. Well, okay, you've been here for a few times of asking the question. Mm-hmm. It's easy for some people. It's hard for others. It depends on how confident you are in your art.
Oh boy,
it sounds terrible. Hit me.
All it is what makes you guys unique as the kind of band that you are compared to other similar artists.
Oh fuck.
I mean, I'm gonna circle back around to what I said about us getting together. Is that we do come from such stupidly different backgrounds, and it's somehow like it shouldn't make any sense. Like when I was 13, like Sublime, Bob Marley, fucking like at the same time Subhumans, Rancid, all this like stupid shit, like it, like my own background doesn't make any sense. Also, like, I mean, just speaking from me, I'm more or less self-taught on my instrument. I took about 2 months of drum lessons, decided I didn't like my teacher, and stopped, and then continued playing because I was in a band. Because two of my friends were like, "Hey, let's start a band. You should play drums." I already played bass. I already played guitar. And I was like, "Oh."
That's how bands work.
Yeah. I was just like, "Oh, okay." I got myself a $70 drum set and went from there. But at the same time, like 4 years later, I discovered like Mutual Milk Hotel, Built to Spill, like all these bands with just totally different things. At the same time, like I'm an East Coast punk rocker, but also love like dance hall and like reggae and all this stuff. And again, I met Ryan starting this band, and his bass playing is all over the place as far as like his influences. Again, he was in a screamo band, but jazz guy. And something about the way that
he also loves pop.
Totally.
Like I pulled up to the practice space like a month or two ago, and he was like blasting. What's her name? Ariana Grande.
Sure.
Grande. Do we do Grande?
I believe.
Yeah.
I called her Ariana Grande once in front of somebody, and they were like, "Fuck you, Cory!
Yeah, right.
You cannot do that." In these
but no, and Ryan is one of those people, like, he listens to everything, and he'll take it all in, and so, and that I not necessarily the same way for me. I mean, there's certainly things that I like and don't like, but I just think like the way that our musicality interacts with each other is kind of unique in that sense.
Yeah, I think it's familiar, but I don't know that.
I listen to a lot of stupid math rock.
Yeah.
And every once in a while I'll try to throw something stupid into a song, and everybody will be like, "Dude, don't do that. Like, that doesn't work." I'm like, "God, fine. All right, fine."
And sometimes it does.
Sometimes it does.
Yeah, I guess to kind of cap that, we all look at music differently, I think. There's a lot that I think on the surface is familiar, but it's kind of, I think, hard to maybe pin it in a certain direction. So I don't know, you hear a She Bear song and it's a fucking She Bear song, I feel like you don't like say like, oh yeah, that necessarily like She Bears is exactly
like Kings of Leon. I don't know why I just pulled that out of nowhere. Just like here's this song. That's kind of like a Kings of Leon song.
But you know, you can do that a lot of the time with bands, I feel like. And although you can say like, oh, you know, I can hear some like Pavement in there, or you know, there's like some Neutral Milk Hotel kind of stuff. Or
you guys sound like Foo Fighters or Third Eye Blind.
Yeah,
we've gotten a lot of weird comparisons over the years.
And that's sort of the thing, is I feel like we've got a lot of stuff that's kind of like familiar. I mean, we're like melodic And so I think people that they kind of like don't necessarily listen to like underground music might still find things that they can like that are relatable for them. So I think that we got a lot of like relatability. I think that's also kind of who we are as people. We're just like four dudes who keep hanging out.
Four chill dudes and
all
in our 30s and still hang out.
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't think that question was that hard.
Yeah.
See, it's easy for some people, you know, because some people are like in the beginning stages of their artistry.
Sure.
That I'll have on here, and we'll ask that question. They're like, I don't know yet, because like you know, a lot of art starts with copying other people.
Sure.
Like the best artist steals from other artists first. So you know, but for more established,
maybe not even first, maybe
not
forever.
even forever.
Maybe forever.
But that can definitely be a hit or miss question for some people.
Sure.
Like we had Kenneth Jackson, who's a photographer for hip hop shows around here, and shout out Kenneth, you're fucking awesome. But he came on and we asked him that question. He was like, I don't know, is that a good answer for you? Like we were like, no, and
no,
like,
that's
fuck.
it's not.
So
not acceptable.
You weren't asking that question yet when you interviewed me, but that would have probably tripped me up.
Yeah, you were on like episode 5.
Yeah,
you were one of the day ones.
Yeah,
so.
OG.
Yeah. So we're on episode 24. That's fucking weird.
God,
it's crazy.
Almost.
What we got? Any more? How much time?
More? We have. I mean, there's really no time limit, but I was about to wrap up.
It's worth noting that Steve and I have matching tattoos.
Yeah, that's a.
We all have-
Ask about that. What is the
We're
deal
both
with the,
wearing shorts, so you can see them. We both have what was our tour vehicle.
The Sheep-mobile?
We never called it that. I never named that car. It used to be my van. It was a mini 2004 Honda Odyssey.
He did want to name it. We talked about it a lot.
Yeah. I thought it would curse it to name it.
Fair enough.
I was wrong.
Yeah, you should have named it, man.
Should have named it.
Stole it and wrapped it around a tree in a high-speed chase.
Yeah, somebody stole it from my house on
Holy
campus, and drove it to Newark, and then totaled it in a police chase after shooting out the windows of cars from the driver's seat. But it is a very silly tattoo of like a side view of that minivan. Kind of poorly rendered, not any fault to the artist. This is the design we landed on.
Yeah. Does anybody else have it?
No, just the two of us.
The original plan was that everyone was gonna get it.
Yeah, we just went out on our own.
It was like a day we were going to get lunch and it was like cold and we were gonna go just get a quote on it, and they were like, "All right, yeah, you guys want to do it?"
Gonna leave out the fact that we were really, really hungover.
Well, I was, but
because that's part of the story. I mean. It's basically just getting a drunken tattoo just the next morning. We walked by one of the old Evolved offices and like dropped off the design to get a quote, went and got lunch and came back, and the guy was like, I can do this right now if you guys want. Okay.
Yeah.
So we both have this stupid minivan tattooed right above our
saved the stencil.
I still have it.
Yeah, because the other guys were going to get it.
If they ever want to get it, I still have the transfer paper. If they can just take it to a tattoo artist and just get it immediately.
That's great.
I have it framed in my living room.
That's awesome.
But I don't think they ever will. I think if maybe all four of us had been there, realistically none of us would have it. But
probably.
There's also the potential that we would all have it. It does commemorate that 2010 tour where we did play most of the states that we've been in.
That's cool. Yeah.
It's silly and it's probably still one of my favorite. I mean, I don't have many, but it's probably one of my favorites still because it means something.
Yeah.
We also the position we were on tour with one of the bands, Traveling by Sea, who are long defunct. They got back together to tour with us for that.
Released a new like EP.
Yeah. They had broken up. They were a Toledo Bowling Green area band. They had broken up. We had actually played their last show.
Yeah.
And then they got back
and
together.
we played their last show again.
And then we played their last show again when we were on tour. But they toured with us. But the guy who was playing drums for them had a lot of like really small, really ridiculous tattoos on his upper thigh.
Not like just like
again, not poorly done, just poorly planned.
Like throwaway tattoos,
like,
you know,
like an Australian flag.
Yeah,
that's the only one I remember.
Little stars, I think. Like he was just like, yeah, it's my thigh. Nobody's gonna see it.
It's like even for us, like it wouldn't be visible for a shorts level.
Yeah.
It was just inner, like upper thigh. Just like it was like that. That is just like the perfect spot to get the silly tattoo. And so we kind of just decided, like, hey, you know what? Thigh. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
It's the only one I have on my lower body.
Yeah, and it was also 2010 then.
Yeah.
So people weren't wearing shorts to short then.
That's true.
And now
people
basically all my shorts are yeah. So here we
Times are changing.
Yeah.
Shorts keep getting shorter.
We should have ended at the part where the windows were shot out of the van. That was dramatic. I was like, holy shit. Because I'd forgotten about that.
Well, a bunch of kids. I had to testify in court against the one who actually
and with a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
So what happens next?
Have you written a song about that?
No. I don't
No.
know.
Why not?
I don't know.
That's kind of a dope song.
I'm not a good writer, so
fair enough.
Yeah.
We Eiler folk though.
It's true. I have a fictional solo album with a really awesome album cover.
Uh-huh.
The picture is out there, even with a digitally added title that we took, I think, on that same tour.
Yeah.
Either that or South by Southwest tour. Of just me. It's just like I'm in like a living room sitting on a couch, and it looks like an album cover.
That's pretty cool.
Of like a crappy folk album. And so there's always been running joke that I would always make this like ridiculous folk album for me, and I will never do it. That's never gonna happen. I am terribly improficient at almost every instrument I've ever picked up.
If it does happen,
but I can make a sound out of it.
Okay.
I just can't make it work.
Well, if it does happen, let me know, and I will feature it on the show.
Sounds good.
If we ever get 3 horny guys back together.
3 horny guys was good.
3 horny guys was.
That's a story.
Sounds like my kind of band.
It's a quick story. It's 3 guys with horns.
Two
guys. That's right. 2 guys with horns, and I forget what Shay did.
Well, we switched off. We had a trumpet and a trombone and 3 guys, and it was originally me and this other guy when we shared a trumpet, and we were both from Texas, so we're called Getting Down to Brass Texans. But then Eiler joined because he had a trombone.
Yeah, well, my roommate had a trombone. I don't actually.
You would acquire the trombone, and then we were like, "All right, cool, dude, that's sweet. You can be in the band. The band's now 3 horny guys."
Right.
And so basically, what we would do is we would like put on a beat on this like Casio keyboard that I have, and then like one person would like dance, and sometimes like maybe like do some like freestyling, and then the other people would play like what can be equated to like really horrible jazz horns.
I'm sure it was like
freak jazz.
Cats fucking.
Yeah.
I'm sure it sounded so bad.
That's even more my shit than I thought it would be.
Like it was
I'm pleasantly surprised.
Think about it like it's like grindcore but like jazzy.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you guys want to start it up again, I have a trombone.
We basically did it in a room that was smaller than this.
Yeah.
Too. It was just in a bedroom.
Yeah.
We just get drunk and try to make noises out of horns.
That reminds me.
Never been trained on a brass instrument in my life. I was just like, I think I can make noise, and I did. I could.
Yeah.
Who knew?
That reminds me of last episode. We had the Emperor Chaz on, and they do a duo called Prim and Proper.
Prim and Proper.
Where Prim and Proper, and what the rapper Marty is the vocalist for it, and it's just him and a drummer, and it's just that's all, and then he just goes, "I'm not all right. I'm not okay." Like it's it's like the British like bullshit. Like that's what he called it. But yeah, that reminds me a lot of that. That's great. They're actually planning on having them open for the Emperor Jazz, which is awesome.
Red.
Yeah. You guys should go check them out. Yeah, go check out last episode if you haven't heard it yet. It's pretty good. Episode 23. But where can people find you? Where can people find your music?
The internet, man. It's
We're all
fucking crazy.
Oh man. 2.0.
Yeah,
man.
We don't have a ton of stuff on YouTube, but like
There's some.
there's some, and we're planning to do some more music videos.
Get on YouTube. I discovered most of my music on YouTube.
That's what people tell me,
We
but
used to have a YouTube channel, and then I lost
still
my
do.
camera.
yeah. But so
I feel that.
I started there, and that's probably not a good place because don't really look at YouTube. Like YouTube, well, what you should do is you should like Follow us on Instagram. Probably not Twitter because I don't really like Twitter.
Me neither. Yeah, I've always hated Twitter.
I mean,
It's just like
Spotify.
yeah. But follow us on the internet on those places. Like Spotify, you can follow us.
We are She Bears on Instagram, right?
We are She Bears on Instagram.
Yeah,
almost all of our handles.
I think on Twitter too.
Sure.
But yeah, we're all the like digital stuff, like Apple, whatever, music, and
anywhere that you stream music, pretty
Sure.
much.
Cool.
You can find.
you can
most of our
also
stuff.
buy. We've got vinyl for. We have some of the We Claim to Be Statues, 7-inch left. Also a dwindling number of the We Will Be Fossil. That probably won't last much longer. And then we've still got some Great Lakes Tidal Wave on vinyl.
Great album, you guys. Check out Great Lakes Tidal Wave.
all of our-
Also a dope name, by the way.
Thanks.
Super cool.
It was a dream.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a dream I had about a tidal wave from coming out of Lake Michigan, like crushing Chicago.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's fucking metal. That should have been a metal album, dude. Like,
Yeah.
damn.
That'd be some great artwork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here, we can look at it here in a sec.
Yeah. Well,
Is it actually? Is that what the?
That's, it's more of,
So the back of it actually has a wave on it. It's
Yeah.
So we're out there. We're working on a new record.
Yeah.
As of right now, untitled.
Yeah.
That's what I like to hear.
But that'll be another full length.
It's mostly tracked.
Yeah,
we got
it's
some
almost
work.
finished.
We got some work still to do, but it's. We have no idea when it's going to get released, though. To be honest,
Yeah,
we're
we
shooting for soon, but you never know.
Well, I think we're gonna do a
As
single.
vague as that might be.
I think we're going to try and do a single this fall. So
Yeah,
if you
sweet.
follow the things on the internet, you'll likely see something if the algorithm picks you.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah. So we say prayers to the algorithm, and we send it.
Thank
money.
you, Mr. Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
So, do you guys have any shout outs that you want to give to anybody before we close out?
Shout out to the two guys who couldn't be here today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ryan and Douglas,
Yeah.
whatever you're doing, hope you're having a good time.
Yeah.
Damn, I don't know.
Shout out to your dog.
Shout out to my dog Jupiter.
Yeah.
She's probably at home right now.
Shout out to Pecan Pennies, who went there just
There
a little bit
We're like the
before.
first
Is it
people
pecan? I'm a Texas guy. We say pecan.
Pecan. I always said pecan too.
I say either of them interchangeably. I don't know
think
why, but I
I've
do.
heard from their own staff they say pecan, but they're all Midwestern people, so
Yeah.
who knows?
Yeah.
Oh, also just shout out to, again, Steven's from Texas, I'm from Massachusetts, so shout out to our home states.
Yeah, shout out to our own states.
Cool.
A lot of people there.
South Coast and East Coast.
Yeah. South Coast, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's on a golf, right?
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish I would have thought about that. I'm sure there's something I can shout out.
Shout outs are hard to think of on the spot.
Oh,
I understand.
Today's 21st. My grandmother, who will not listen to this, is about to be 95 years old.
Damn.
Hey, congrats.
I got
Happy
a
birthday,
card I
Grandma.
got to throw in the mail.
Shout out.
She's going to be 95 years old.
Cool.
Holy moly. You better get that in the mail. Like, you better overnight it. You're going to have to go to a FedEx facility.
I mean, her birthday's in 4 days, so
Oh,
I'm
I thought it was tomorrow.
I'm going to send it.
Tomorrow is the 2-year anniversary of Great Lakes Tidal Wave being
Oh,
launched.
cool.
Wait,
Alright.
yeah, tomorrow.
Right.
That's something to celebrate.
Yeah,
Good
22nd.
shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, quick self plug shamelessly. Oh yeah, the first album I ever put out, Crisis Averted, turned a year old on the 7th of this month. So
Yeah, buddy.
yeah, I actually didn't talk about that last episode, but I also make music. I don't talk about it at all, but I do. So go check
That's
that
what I
out.
do it sometimes.
Yeah. All right, guys. Anything else you want to cover, or you feel
I don't know. I really wish we would have had a big finale ending planned.
Yeah.
Fireworks.
Tiny desk concert.
Yeah, can you
Yeah.
put fireworks sounds here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll just do them ourselves.
Yep.
Oh, no.
Perfect. And then music
thanks,
fade.
Thanks
Here
for
we go.
having us.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, of course.
It's good.
Thanks for coming on.
Yes.
We'll see you guys next week. Still sponsored by the Green Room. We'll have 2 more of those messages. So
Just for the record, not the movie Green Room with
Yeah.
Patrick Stewart. Nazis killing people. Sorry, I just had to make that joke. That's a great movie, though. Just go watch it.
all right. Next week we will have. It's actually going to be an axe throwing party of sorts. We are going to have Valyrian Steel, which is a team of 2 axe throwers. We're going to have Scott Shepard, who is a coworker of mine, who also works at Dueling Axes with me. We're going to have Tommy, who is both a retrowave artist and a professional axe thrower. So, and potentially one or two other co-workers, we're going to see if they can make it on. But it's going to be an episode with like 7 people, and we're all going to be talking about axe throwing, and we're going to chop it up, and it's going to be sweet. So, keep on the lookout for that. Stay tuned. Follow us on all of our social media. Sorry about the iTunes update shit. They ruined our RSS feed file, so that like screwed up. So they only have up to episode 17 right now, so we're trying to figure that out. But peace out. See you next week.
Bye, guys.